This compensation plan change that's coming up here February 1st is the biggest launch that I've ever seen in my entire time with Nu Skin. I believe it'll have the most positive impact that we've ever seen, and I'm super excited about it. Nu Skin has always been known in the industry as paying leaders incredibly well, if not the best. But however, we sometimes see a little bit of a lack of money in the front end of the plan, and that is exactly what is changing right now. And over the years, Nu Skin has paid out over $14 billion in commissions. And as you see here, it's just more and more every single year, which is super exciting. And so in the new plan here, we have already launched the lead part in EMEA. And now we're also launching the share part and the build part, which I'm going to go through here in more detail. And just so you're familiar with the new terminology here, I'm sure you have already seen some of these pin titles, but just so you know, a preferred customer will now be referred to as a member, a distributor is now a brand affiliate, a qualifying executive will now be a qualifying sales leader, and an executive will be a brand representative, and so on. So let's start with the share part. Some of the changes that are going to happen is that the level 1 5% bonus is going to be removed, and the qualifying bonus pool and the executive bonus pool are going to be removed as well. And now you will no longer have a 100 PV requirement. There is no requirement at all to purchase any products yourself, actually, to be able to earn a commission. Okay, and so when we resell products to customers ourselves, we then get a retail profit. If you then use the company My Store app or you set up a customer account, it's called a retailing bonus. And then for all the purchases that happen through our customers, through our preferred customers, and through our distributors, they're all going to have sharing bonuses attached to them as well. That is going to be the huge difference. And these sharing bonuses are going to range anything between 4 to 12%, especially the social sellers will have between usually 10, 11% on them. And so you'll see a price increase here on our social sellers of between 7 to 12%, and the price increase on all other products will be about 2.5%. And the new retail markup on Nu Skin products will be 38%. However, if you do sell through the My Store app or the soon-to-be launched My Site website, then you will see that the social sellers will actually have a 53% markup, and other products will have the normal 43% markup if you add the sharing bonus. So just to be very clear here, so a retail profit is, let's say, for example, that you buy a bunch of products yourself and you sell them onto your client. You mark them up by 38%. So let's say you buy the mud mask for £21. You will also pay shipping for that, of course. And then you mark it up to 38%. It's now £29. You sell it to them for £29 and you make a £7 retail profit. And if you sign up somebody as a retail customer on the website, or you send a My Store link, then the customer will buy that product directly for £29, and they will also pay £3.49 in shipping and handling, and you will receive a retail bonus of £7 that will be paid to you to your bank account. So none of those things are new at all, really, except for that obviously the prices will go up a little bit. The big thing that we have now is the sharing bonus, which we used to have we've always had it here for the LumiSpa, and the sharing bonus for that has always been £20 in the UK. Now, when somebody buys that at the member price of £161, that sponsor will receive £20 unless they are a brand representative or an executive or above, then they will receive that sharing bonus themselves. So on February 1st, all of the products are going to have a sharing bonus. So for example, here we have the mud mask, for example, will have a member price of £21 instead of £19, and the sharing bonus will be £2. So that sharing bonus will actually go to the direct upline of the person buying it, or the customer buying it. It will go directly to the person that signed them up as a customer, either a retail customer or a preferred customer. Unless they are a brand representative, then they receive the sharing bonus themselves. So as you see here in the old plan, there was no sharing bonus on the mud mask, but the member price or distributor price was £19, and we retailed it at £27. Now there's going to be a £2 sharing bonus, so the member price has gone up to £21, and the retail price is £29. So the actual profit, if you're receiving the sharing bonus as well, will be £10 instead of £8. So for the lip plumping balm, for example, as you see there on the old plan, there's no sharing bonus. On the new plan, there's a £1.56 sharing bonus, and obviously the member price has gone up a little bit, and the retail price has gone up a little bit. And so, for example, if you sell 10 of these, you're now going to make £13.40 more if you're selling it through the website or the app, or you are a brand representative and above, for example. So once again, the sharing bonus goes to the sponsor for any of the purchases made by members, brand affiliates, or customers, right? So members are preferred customers, and customers are now the retail customers, and then brand affiliates are the distributors. So the member, a preferred customer, buys it at £21, the wholesale, and a brand affiliate buys it obviously at wholesale with the member price, whereas a customer buys it at retail. And then that sharing bonus will go directly to the sponsor, and they don't have to have any purchases to receive that sharing bonus. And this is where it becomes quite interesting. If somebody does not really want to focus on the business, but they would love to refer you customers, you can always create a free account for them. And then you obviously will sign up all of their referred people under them, and they will at least retain their sharing bonus. And if they start to see some money come in, they could potentially be very interested in building a bigger business, or at least refer you way more customers and potential business partners. So anytime you use the My Store app, that person will automatically become a retail customer, and they will then buy it at the retail price, and you as the sponsor of that customer will receive both the difference of the retail price and the member price plus the sharing bonus. So you will actually get a £10 profit on any mud mask sold. So that will be a greater profit for all of you using that My Store app. And the only time that the sponsor does not get that sharing bonus is if you are an executive or above, or a brand representative or above, then you will retain your own sharing bonus on all products purchased. So if you then purchase this mud mask at £21, you will then receive a sharing bonus of £2. So you're really only paying £19 for it. The other huge change is going to be in our build part. And this is when people have obviously qualified as what we used to call executives and what we now call the brand representatives. And this part right here is paid on a weekly basis, and it's going to start at 5% of your team sales, and it's going to go all the way up to 40%. And this is where it becomes very exciting. So your group is going to consist of all your retail customers, all your members, all your brand affiliates, and all your qualifying brand representatives, right? As soon as somebody qualifies as brand representative, they leave your group, just like now. And so how do we then qualify to become a brand representative? So this is the part that's going to change a little bit. But first, let's talk about some terminology. So the GSV is going to change to something called sales volume. So it's a point system that's used to compare the relative value of the products, and it's just like we had before, right? But now we're going to have something called building blocks and sharing blocks. Now, sharing blocks are building blocks, but they're only count by purchases made by your personally registered customers, so level 1. They can be your customers, your members, and all your brand affiliates on your first level, and also all of your own purchases. Those are all points, sales volume, that qualify for sharing blocks. However, all sharing blocks are also building blocks. And before, we used to have to qualify with 4,500 points over 3 months' time, or you could do it quicker as well. Now we need 12 building blocks, which is actually 6,000 points of sales volume from anyone in your group. However, you can actually count all of your qualifying brand representatives as well, which wasn't always the case before. However, 4 of your 12, so 2,000 points of 6,000, needs to be sales volume from your personally registered or your own purchases, right? So level 1 or your own purchases needs to be at least 2,000 out of the 6,000. So to complete the qualification, you need 12 building blocks, which at least 4 are sharing blocks. And this needs to be done within 6 consecutive months, okay? And the minimum in a month needs to be 2 building blocks, right? So that's 1,000 points that can be done, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 over 6 months will make you a brand representative, okay? But here, in this example here, in month 1, you do 2 building blocks, so at least 1,000 points. In month 2, you do 1,500 points, and at least 500 of those 1,500 points are actually done by your own purchases and on your first level. And in month 3, you're actually doing 3,000 points here, but 1,000 of those 3,000 points are actually from your own purchases and those on your level 1. And then in month 4, you can actually, the last month, when you complete your 12th block, you can actually just do 500 points and you can become a brand representative that week that you've done that completed that entire building block. So you can see that there's no required minimum to do 2,000 points or whatever. If you just are lacking 500 points left, one building block, then you can do that, let's say the first week of that last month there, and you will then be a brand representative all the other weeks after that. So once again, the first step is to develop a group, and then as soon as you've done 2 building blocks, you submit a Nu Skin letter of intent. You do that online via the app or on the web, and then you complete these 6,000 points or 12 building blocks over at least the maximum is 6 months, but you can do it in just 1 week as well, and then the following week you are actually a brand representative. And then once you finish a qualification, you become a brand representative, you start earning building bonuses. And the minimum to maintain a brand representative is to have 4 building blocks, just like before, 2,000 points or 4 building blocks. Once again, so here's a person that through January through May, they did 10 of their building blocks, and 4 of those are sharing blocks. And now in that next month, in first week, they do 1 building block, their 11th one, and then they do their 12th building block, and now they completed qualification. So on June 15th here, they will become promoted to a brand representative. So in weeks 3 and 4 of June, they will be paid as an executive or a brand representative, as it's now called. And so there's no required maintenance for that rest of that month. That required maintenance starts the following month for them. And what is also very important, that if you have somebody that's qualifying within your team, and as soon as they become a brand representative, they will obviously leave your group and they will now be paid as a brand representative or executive. And you can only count those first 2-week building blocks. So you can only count here, Jenna can only count 1,000 points or 2 blocks from Kelsey, because Kelsey then breaks away and she is now a brand representative herself, right? And so Jenna can no longer count the building blocks from Kelsey going forward there in that same month. Only those first 2 blocks, and that's it. So Jenna, to maintain brand representative, she needs to find another 1,000 points or 2 building blocks from other people in her team as soon as Kelsey breaks away there, so she can complete her minimum of 4 building blocks. And also note that anyone who is already a brand representative, you never need to do any kind of sharing blocks. You can only do building blocks after that. The only time sharing blocks come into place is when you are in qualification. After that, then all the blocks can just be building blocks. Nothing has to come from your own purchases or your first level purchases. And a big difference in the new compensation plan is that you can actually count the building blocks from other people that are also qualifying within your team. However, if you start qualification in December or January before this plan starts, you will qualify through the old plan and you cannot count other qualifying brand representatives within your team, just like before. So that's where, yes, it's maybe only 4,500 points to qualify, but you cannot count anyone in your team who's also qualifying, who's in their second month or above. So that's where it's really important to see that you talk to the company to see which situation you're in and who you can count within your team as you're qualifying. So now you've finally qualified to be a brand representative, and to maintain, so the following month that you become a brand representative, you need to keep doing 4 building blocks or 2,000 in sales volume every single month, right? So each block is 5,000 GSV equivalent. And also, every product has going to have a sales volume attached to it, and also a CSV, which is a commissionable sales value. And now that you are a brand representative, you're going to be paid on the CSV of these building blocks. And so on the first 2 building blocks of the month, so the first 1,000 points, you're going to get paid 5%. On the next 500 points, you're going to get paid 10%. On the next one, 15%, and so on, as you see on the picture right here. So anything above 8,000 points, you're going to get paid 40% on, and this is where it becomes very exciting. However, you have to complete the entire block to be paid that percentage. Otherwise, you're paid the previous percentage. So, for example, here, you see in week 1, they did 2 building blocks, and in week 2, they did another building block, then 2 more building blocks, and then 2 more building blocks, and then only a fraction of the last building block. So they will not get paid 35%. They will only get paid 30% on that last building block because they didn't complete the entire building block, if that makes sense. Also note, if you do not complete 4 building blocks in a month, you will only get paid on the completed building blocks. So if you do, for example, 1,600 in sales volume, you will only get paid on the first 1,500 there. You will only get paid 5% times 1,000 plus 10% times 500. And the last 100 points you won't get paid on at all because you're going to be using something called a flex block, which I'll go into very soon. But first, let's show this incredible example here. So if you see in the new plan and the old plan, the difference at 2,000 points or 4 building blocks, there's not really any difference. And there's not really any difference in 3,000 points either. But the difference starts to happen at 3,500 and above. Look at that, 4,000 points, you are getting paid almost £100 more, almost 20% more, right? And look at that, at 10,000, you're almost getting paid twice as much. And this just starts to get really exciting at 15,000, 20,000, and 50,000, right? And that's where this new plan is so incredibly powerful. For those people that are doing more than 3,500 points in a month in their building blocks, they start to make really, really good money. And in this example, I didn't even account for the 5% on the first level in the old plan, or now that we have 4 to 11% sharing bonus on the new plan. So it might even be quite a bit more if you do a lot of sales yourself or on your first level, right? Because a lot of the social sellers have about a 10% sharing bonus, which is twice as much as it was before at 5% on your first level. So that's really exciting. And now you get paid that a sharing bonus yourself on all your own purchases, whereas before you weren't getting paid on any of that on the old plan. So that's super exciting. So what's going to happen with grace months and so on? So provisional executives are totally gone. However, there is something now called flex blocks, okay? So a flex block is a building block substitute. So it automatically is used to complete as your brand representative monthly maintenance of 4 building blocks. So when you become a brand representative, you will automatically get 3 flex blocks. In the second month, you will receive 2 flex blocks, and your third month, you will receive 1 flex block, and then every year, you will receive an additional 3 flex blocks, and these will never expire. You can build up as many as you possibly want. But also note that flex blocks do not generate sales volume or CSV and have no monetary value. So as I said before, for example, if you do 1,700 points, for example, you will not get paid on those last 200 points because you're going to be using a flex block, and you will only get paid on the first 1,500 points. And none of the uplines get paid on that volume either. So for example, if you have a downline executive or brand representative who does 1,700 points, you're only going to get paid on 1,500 of their points as well. So let's take an example here. Somebody that in January they completed their qualification, so in the rest of the month they don't have any requirements, but in February they only did 1,580 sales volume, right? So they're going to get paid on the 1,500 of those, and they're going to be using one of their 3 flex blocks they received, and so they only have 2 flex blocks left, right? But then the following month they will receive another 2 flex blocks, and this month they did over 2,000 points, so they will not use any flex blocks, so they'll suddenly have 4 flex blocks. And then in April, they only do 1,000 points in sales volume, 1,020 there, and so they're going to need to use 2 flex blocks to complete their 2,000, and that means that they will now be down to, and then from May onwards, they have no problems getting their 2,000 points every month, so they'll maintain their 3 flex blocks, and every single year, so in January again, that's their anniversary month, that's the month they become a brand representative, they will receive an additional 3 flex blocks. So now they have 6 flex blocks. Then a year later goes by and they'll receive another 3 flex blocks, and now they have 9 flex blocks, etc., 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 right? As long as they always do at least 2,000 points. But what is also quite exciting is that let's say you have a person that is doing a slow qualification over 6 months of just doing right above 1,000 points every single month. Then they become a brand representative in January, and then in February they struggle a little bit and they only get 520 points. They use 3 of their flex blocks, and the next month they only do 1,150 points, so they use 2 of their new flex blocks, and then the next month they do 1,620 points, for example, and they use that one last flex block they receive. And then from then onwards, they do 2,000 points. So they're actually doing 9 months really to get towards 2,000 points, right? They're moving quite slowly, but they're building up a stable, solid organization of good customers. And it's just taking them a little bit longer. They're doing it very, very part-time. And then they keep their 2,000 points every month. And then in January, they receive another 3 flex blocks again, and so on. So I hope that helps explain how flex blocks work. And then the last part is the lead part. I won't go into too much detail here, but just so you understand, one of the things about our company is that they've always talked about it being really, really hard to maintain 12 or 15 frontline executives or brand representatives. Whereas now with the new lead part, which they launched last year, you only need to have 6. You need to find 6 strong leaders and you can reach the top of the compensation plan, which is absolutely amazing. And in this part of the compensation plan, you're obviously receiving either 2.5%, 5%, or 10% on your entire team's commissionable sales, right? And it just depends on how much you built up to see how many generations deep you build. But this is the part that's paid on a monthly basis still going forward. So your team is essentially your group plus all your groups, and you can make money up to 6 generations depending on how much volume you have going through your different teams. The only big difference here is obviously when you have people that are qualifying to become brand representatives, they will pop out of your team in the middle of the month sometimes. So you cannot count them the entire month. You will only count up those weeks up to when they become a brand representative, right? So always be aware of that going forward. And just as you know before, I mean, if you want to go up the ranks here, you just need to build those 4, 5, 6 teams, and some of those teams then need to have leadership. The leadership teams need to do a certain amount of volume for you to get up to senior brand director, executive brand director, and presidential director, and so on. And nothing changes here with 6 blocks, 3,000 points. We'll still either you'll make 10% leading bonus on your G1 exec CSV, or 5% on your entire team up to 6 generations. And then if you do either 4 or 5 blocks, so 2,000 to 2,999 points, you will receive 2.5% on your organization. And one of the most exciting parts of this new change coming February 1st is our back office, okay? And this is where the company has introduced a lot of gamification and also made it super clear for you to see what's going on and how much money you can make. And this is where the testimonials that I will share here later on, all the people that have been working with this in Australia for the past year and also recently in North America, they have said that this is really the massive game changer for them. And so the key point here is that it's going to show all your compensation activity in a month. It's going to also be enabled when you become a brand affiliate. And you can also see your weekly transfer of funds to your bank. They're going to be free here, hopefully for the UK, and then funds transferred using Pay Me Now will incur fees. So you can actually choose to get paid at any point, but that's going to have a small fee attached to it. It does not accrue any interest, and you can locate all of this in your volumes and genealogy. One of the huge things that I find, for example, with anybody who has a Shopify website business, is that whenever they get a sale, they get this little notification. And that is going to happen here with this new comp plan, is you will be able to set it up so you get a notification every time you get a sharing bonus, for example. It's super exciting. Can you imagine your phone just going ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching? Like how exciting and motivational is that going forward, right? Another really cool feature is the leaderboard. So you can see in the EMEA region, possibly, or within the country, who are the leaders. And then you can kind of go after that. So here, I just took an example here from the US and Canada in December. And at this point, the person that I took the example from had done 12 billion blocks. So they were at 6,000 points, had done extremely well. But the leader in the region was doing over 40,000 points with 83 building blocks there. So that's quite exciting. If you're competitive, you'll love this feature. And then, as you can see here, it's a lot more detailed. You'll see how much you'll make in sharing bonus, how much you'll make in building bonus, how much your total earnings is. You'll see the available balance to pay out, for example, if you started making more money. You'll see which block you're on. So this person here, their block goal was 15 that month. And so they were on the 13th block at that time and had done over 6,000 points, right? So that's another really great feature to really break it down to see what's happening and following your goals. And as you can see here, you can see exactly what the sharing bonus is every single day, how much was paid on certain days. So the month is going to go from the 1st through the 7th, and then you get paid on the 8th. And so it ends at 11 p.m. UK time on the 7th for that week. And then the next week goes from the 8th to the 14th and ends at 11 p.m. UK time on the 14th. And the next week is going to go from the 15th to the 21st. And then the last week is the 22nd to the end of the month. Okay. And so you can really see there what they're doing in terms of building and sharing bonuses. And another really cool feature are the different badges. So you have it for sharing, building, and leading. And as you can see there on the screen there, this person has started to get quite a lot of different badges for the building and also starting to lead as well. And you can have different trophies. And obviously these are great for sharing on social media and really going at it and having a lot of fun with it within your team and motivating each other, and also recognizing your team as well, which is great. For obviously recruiting new people as well. And as you see here, this person has done the Blaze Builder and the Bonfire. So they received for Blaze Builder, they received your first building bonus, and then Bonfire is earn 8 building blocks in a month, etc., right? And so you can have a lot of fun with this. But the thing I am most excited about is this right here. Just being able to see exactly where you're at in terms of your total commissions and how much you're going to make on that next block. And this is where we're seeing a lot of people are getting super motivated to finish their next block and go after the next block and the next block and getting way higher group circle volumes because of this. And this is what's going to be super exciting for all of you that are brand representatives, to be able to track exactly what you're going to be making and really getting motivated every single day. Especially as you start to get into those 35-40% blocks. I mean, those are going to be so exciting for a lot of people to be making that kind of money on. Every time they do another 500 points, they're just going to make a great amount of extra commission. So just to end it on a few testimonials of people that I've talked to about this. Here's one. There's less stress to get to the 1,500 and 2,000 if they're slow growers. Obviously, the ones that go hard will love it and get rewarded quicker. But I've had one girl who didn't think she could do 2,000. She's done her executive over 6 months and has taking the time to learn the system, and they don't want to start again from zero. That's the only stress. But we get flex blocks, and once they're executive too, so that is a cushion. So really they get about 7 to 8 months, and I showed that in a previous example, to have 2,000 volume, which is loads. Another great testimonial here is that daily alerts for money earned even when you're not working, so that's really motivating. Easy to keep track of where the money is coming from, the sharing, building, and lead bonus. Team get rewarded sooner, so it increases the motivation. No need for a dummy account to get those 5% because you get that money on your own sharing bonus. Get paid from distributors with sharing bonus. Seeing blocks of 500 makes you push to get another block to get a higher percentage pay. You can earn a lot more as an executive, and 6 months to get to executive or instant if quicker builder. No need to wait till end of month. Just bloody awesome. I've noticed a massive shift in not only my business, but alongside my individual team members. I find everyone is much more motivated as you start to see the benefits from the comp plan right away. The bonus app changing so you can better track your progress. The rewards given from the new comp plan have provided so much energy and motivation that everyone just wants to keep going. I do find it much easier now for everyone to understand exactly what they will be earning and exactly what they'll need to be doing to do so. I really do not have anything bad to say about it. I think the only challenge I faced was learning velocity itself. But once I nailed it, it was smooth sailing from there on. And then this is from actually a big leader in the US. The build part is incredible. Always drives up circle volume. And then the last testimony here is the new comp plan is great. So as far as the building blocks go, there is more room for your execs to improve. They're having a challenging month, meaning they don't go into a grace month because it's based on how many blocks they still have left for the month. If they don't hit their minimum points, then 2 blocks are taken away, which gives you an opportunity to really get back on your feet. The sharing bonus is basically your profit that you would make from the product's retail price from someone buying off your site or your My Store link that you personally sent them. Overall, there's so much more room to make money quicker with this comp plan. Oh, and also, executives get paid almost immediately as execs after they hit that title. In the old plan, we didn't get paid as an exec until the following month. I'm still learning velocity, but understanding it more time to go on, I think you'll all really like it as well. And just like I said at the very beginning here, I think this is the biggest change that I've seen since I joined the company, and it's going to be so interesting to see so many of you make way more money and get that motivation and just have so much fun with this. So let's really have a lot of fun with this new plan. Let's recruit like crazy until it starts. And once it starts, just keep on recruiting like crazy because you'll see so much more money coming in. And you're not just getting paid on a monthly basis now, but also on a weekly basis So that's it for tonight. If you have any other questions, please do get in touch with your account manager in the office, and they will gladly help you to learn even more.